This was Greece 3 years ago. Riots in Athens, Greeks protesting against austerity. The country was on the brink of economic collapse and could well have brought down the rest of the Eurozone.
These days, Athens is calm. They've cleaned up again after all those riots. And Greece has cleaned up its image in international capital markets, where the country is back issuing debt again, as are its companies, and especially its banks. The question is Greece safe again for international investors?
Sharp falls in Greece's government borrowing costs have followed the return to some political stability, although there is still strong domestic opposition to the reform agenda imposed by Greece's international creditors. There have been other important achievements. Unemployment, which shot up alarmingly, has started to fall as the economy has stabilised. It might even grow again this year. Greece is now running a budget surplus before interest payments. The message from the government, at least, is clear.
Greece is a safe destination for investments. 2 years ago, everybody was talking about the possibility of Greece leaving the Eurozone. Nobody's talking about this any longer. The Greek government has been successful in restoring trust, in putting the public finances into order, and in attracting foreign investments to leverage the significant competitive advantages that the Greek economy is facing.
In Athens today, you do get a sense that the worst is over. Certainly the tourists are out in force.
Yeah, last year was a record year in terms of arrivals and receipts, and this year is going to be even better. Probably close to 11% better than last year.
Greece was given a whole list of reforms by its international creditors, the International Monetary Fund, as well as European governments and institutions. That meant big things, like improving tax collection, a basic function of a modern state, and freeing up labour markets. What many Greeks also realised was that they had to change their way of life, to change a system of favours handed out by politicians, and to stamp out corruption.
We have seen a lot of prosecutions, even at the ministerial level. The results are mixed. I would say in some areas there is obvious improvement, in other areas less of an improvement, but in summary they are progressing, but not fast enough, I would say.
Greece's reform agenda is lengthy. It also covers things like Sunday shopping, reducing restrictions on tourism, and changing restrictive product laws that hampered competition, such as a rule that milk could only be called fresh if it had a shelf life of less than 5 days. That meant only Greek dairies could supply supermarkets.
The future of the Greek economy is going to depend on a lot more than just what is fresh milk or how much does it cost. The country's got to rebuild its economic model out of the ruins of the past. It's got to decide how it's going to create the wealth and jobs now that the old model, based on high consumption and indebtedness, is bust.
The South has the Mediterranean model, which is neither competitive or efficient, nor a model that provides high degrees of equity. So we know that we need greater efficiency and competitiveness. We know that for that certain markets have to be liberalized and the state has to be able to deliver greater value. Whether this will mean that the end state of that will resemble more closely to a coordinated model with strong social partners and a strong export orientation, or a more liberalized model, is something that will be discovered within the next few years.
Greece has many possible strengths. It's a natural tourist destination. Some think it could develop as a centre of medical expertise, or as a logistics hub in Europe, especially for Chinese investors, or maybe high-tech. Not everyone is convinced Greece is ready.
You know, Greece and California have a common thing that both states are bankrupt, but California has the Silicon Valley, and Greece could create a kind of, let's say, Silicon Valley around the 3 or 4 clusters the country has already in Creta, Heraklion, in Volos, in Athens, Coralia, in Patras and in Thessaloniki.
The danger is that if Greece does not rebuild its economy and find ways to slash unemployment, disillusionment will grow, especially among young Greeks. There are big questions about how long the current pro-reform coalition government can stay in office. If reforms stall, Greece may suddenly look a lot less attractive to foreign investors. The country might slide back into social tensions, and we might have riots in the streets again. Ralph Atkins, Financial Times, Athens.